What's up guys, Winter Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new test hand video. We're doing a DDD test hand today, and because a while back, like maybe a week ago or so, I did a poll where I asked you guys what kind of test hands you wanted to see, and it was Mech Knight, DDD, and Mermail. You guys most voted for Mech Knight. We did that test hand video. I plan to do a combo video for that with the Brilliant engine because I think it'll be worthwhile, but I'm going to get around to doing the other decks you guys voted for as well, so we're going to get DDD done, and we're going to do another Mermail test hand video as well, sort of keep up to date when as time goes on. And also, one thing to mention, if you want to know any more about this playmat here, this is actually the 2-player Dragon Scale cloth playmat from Imperium Duelist, and these are their illusion effect sleeves as well, the prismatic and dot effect sleeves. Really awesome stuff. I love these sleeves. I've been using them for weeks now. If you want to pick up some for yourself, you can check out their website down in the description below right now or after the video, and use a discount code WinterKills10 off, which we actually have now that we are officially sponsored by them. So if you want to save a little money on your next purchase, feel free to. It supports me in the process, and you guys save a little money on some great stuff. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into this test hand video. And I also got this new table as well, which now I can actually fit the entire mat in the shot, and without it like drooping off the edges. Like, I think like every test hand I've done up until this point has had this. This flaw where the mat would just droop over the side and I couldn't have the whole mat on there, and I had to like cramp everything in, especially as zones became more important, the more frustrating that has gotten to deal with. And but now we have this slightly bigger table to work with, so it gets the job done, and we can go ahead and make some better test hands now. So if you guys enjoy this little upgrade. And this is our first hand. Very, very good hand. So good, actually. I think what I'm going to do is start by not necro sliming, but 1-for-1ing. And I'm going to go get... See, here I could 1-for-1 for a Lamia, but I want a 1-for-1 for a Kepler, actually, because I don't want to use my normal summon on Kepler if I don't have to. I think this would be a much better way to go about it, and I'm going to use this to grab me Lamia, and then I'm going to use this as a normal summon and go ahead and... It doesn't really matter too much what we foolish here. We have pretty much all the necessary pieces in our grave. I'll foolish another Lamia here just in case I want to use that at some point. But like, our hand is really good at this point. And another thing we can do is we don't really have to use Link Karibo here like we normally do in most of our combos. We can actually just go straight into Wee Witch right now. Or we could go into this guy, but I want to go into Wee Witch because I think Wee Witch is a little bit better. And we'll just go into Wee Witch there. These will go to the extra deck. Also, one of the other reasons I wanted to do this test hand video was because there was a guest upload on House of Champs from Farfa doing the Table 500. And if you guys watch this video on the channel, you saw that the first replay was against me. Not many people noticed, but I was the poor DDD player on the other side who made a slight mistake, and I could have ended with a Siegfried instead of the D-Arc Wee Witch. Like, the only thing I could have done better with that terrible hand was make a Siegfried, and I just get roasted. And I'm kind of back doing this as a little bit of redemption to show that I'm not like such a terrible DDD player. So if you were in that stream and you didn't realize it was me, I'm sorry, but you guys can go check that video. I'd highly recommend it. It's a cool artifact deck also, but I'm in the video as well as a little like little Easter egg sort of. But yeah, let's keep going here. We have our fusion summon monster now. We have Genghis, and the next thing I want to do now is banish Swirl Slime to summon this out, and we can use this. No, we can't. We already used it. I was gonna say, can we use the other effect of it, but we can't, which is fine. So right now, all I'm going to do is just revive Lamia off of this Genghis now, and I'm going to actually summon this over here because I don't want it to be in the way. And now we'll just synchro into a Alexander, but I just wanted to like tell you guys that backstory before I went any further. And I didn't want to talk and play at the same time, so now we have our Alexander. Now we can just fusion summon. We'll banish Genghis and Necro Slime. Because I want to keep both the Lamias in grave. I feel like if I just banish one right now, it'd be kind of a waste. Use this to summon this, and then we'll synchro here. Now this is like the best combo that this deck is really capable of, in my opinion, at least the build that I'm playing. And now we'll just use the Lamia here to send this to the grave. and to synchro here. But like this is the best combo, like ending Wee Witch, Siegfried, Crystal Wing. We could even end with Decode Talker now, if we wanted to, with the extra piece that we have. That's something we could totally do. But it's just not necessary, I don't think, and leaving this here doesn't do a whole lot, I guess. It's not too big of a deal. We can still just go for Decode Talker anyways. I'd rather put Decode Talk. If we had more plays to make, I would put Decode over here so we can make another monster, but I'm just going to put it here so it has the attack boost. So yeah, that's our ending field. We have the Decode, we have the Siegfried, we have the Crystal Wing. This is like pretty much the best board this deck can make, at least for the build that I'm playing. Granted, it could be a little better. We could play a card like Summon Sorceress and switch the placements of these. So we put Summon Sorceress here, make this a Fiend, use this effect to summon a Fiend, and then we can summon Ragnarok out in defense and just have that there chilling as an extra body for our opponent to have to deal with, or we can use it to make a rank 8. That's literally a little bit of extension that we could have done right there technically. Well, we couldn't have actually made Summon Sorceress, so I take that back, but Summon Sorceress is an option that you can play in here if you're in an area that you can play Summon Sorceress. I still don't know if it's available in Europe yet, but just keep that in mind. Summon Sorceress is a pretty good option in here as well. But yeah, that was our first test hand. Not too bad. Didn't screw up anything there, I don't think so. Apart from like maybe little niche things that I could have done increments better. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and shuffle up one more time. I'm going to pile shuffle just because I don't want to draw into brick hands. So let's pile shuffle real quick. But again, I'm really happy I got this table because it's so nice to be able to like not only showcase this really awesome map, but I can fit all the zones on the table now and not have anything drag off. And since I have this wide angle lens that I picked up a couple weeks ago, I can actually get everything in the frame without, you know, losing anything. Like, so I have the big table, I have the wider lens, and it's actually really helping out. So I hope you guys notice and enjoy the improvement. So let's draw into our next hand here. Looks like we got... That's not supposed to be in there. Whoops. That's the problem when I have, like, my extra deck sleeves and my main deck sleeves are the same color. So that happens sometimes. Oh well. Shame on me. But this is our hand. This is our opening hand. And I figured we'll just go going first hands, because that, I think, makes a little more sense to me. So this Kepler kind of just gets to chill in our hand. Let's go ahead and contract here for Lamia. I think Lamia is going to be a little bit better to have here because we need that tuner, honestly, more than anything. And we can sort of use this Swamp King here as a substitute for an extra, for our Necro Slime, sort of, if you will. Now at this point, we need to go into Linkuriboh because Linkuriboh is like our main play starter. And it's sort of just debating now what I want to use for Linkuriboh. We can just use this for an extra contract, which actually I think I'll do. We'll summon Kepler here. I'm going to grab another contract. It's just discard fodder at the end of the day for Lamia, I suppose. And then we'll put this up here because we're going to link it away for our Linkuriboh. Throw him right there. And now we can start playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But we have a Ragnarok in hand, which we could pretty much use his pendulum scale effect here if we'd want. Or we could technically use his summon effect because we have a Swirl Slime, which we're actually going to need this in hand for. So I was going to play it in the scale, but we're going to need it in hand because we're going to need something to revive with, not revive, but to summon out with the Swirl Slime engrave. So, because that's going to trigger this effect. Otherwise, we have nothing else to do other than use Lamia's effect early, which we don't want to do. So now we'll summon this out off of the Swirl Slime. Now we'll use Genghis like this to revive that. And now we have to go into Wee Witch. So we'll get rid of these two. We'll put this up here. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use Ragnarok the way I anticipated us being able to, but all is okay. So let's go into the Wee Witch's Apprentice. Put that right there. And let's go ahead and synchro into Gale. just like that. And at this point, this would be so helpful if we had like a DDD link, man. If we had a DDD link, this deck would be so much better. I hope we get a DDD link at some point. At this point, the only two things that we can do are either... There's actually only really one thing we can do at this point, and that's use Lamia, summon out Lamia by sending this to the grave, and then reviving this. And then we synchro for a Crystal Wing, like so, and our Lamia is going to get banished because we used this effect early. And the other thing we could do is we could go into a Decode Talker with these two. Not super necessary, but I think it wouldn't be. I think it'll just help us get the most out of what we have. And then we can play Swamp and banish both Genghis and Gus King for a DDD D'Arc. Because this will help us gain some life points next turn if it does manage to stick around. And it's also an extra thing for Decode Talker to work with. And we could probably just play this over here to prevent against Mech Knights. But that's pretty much all we're going to end up with there. So let's go ahead and shuffle up one more time. Let me make sure I have nothing in my extra deck and no extra deck monsters sticking around in my main deck. So let's clean everything up here. And I'm going to go ahead and pile shuffle real quick. And we'll pick up again with another test hand. Alright, everything is all shuffled and ready to go. Let's go ahead and draw into our next hand here. And let's see, 2 contracts with the gate so far, a Necro Slime, a Called by the Grave, first time seeing that card, and a Ragnarok. Okay, this is a workable hand. We can still make some things happen here. Let's Dark Contract for a Swirl Slime. This hand is actually pretty rough. Because it's just we have to use so many resources, literally just to even get on the board. And that's the rough thing with DDD right now. Is the link mechanic just really crushes it. Because otherwise we could just fusion and combo off without having to worry about making a link first. Because this deck is very resource heavy when it's when it's popping off. In my opinion at least, and having to burn some of those resources on a non-combo oriented monster really slows it down. So I'm going to use my normal summon on Necro Slime here to actually go into a Link Rebo. So we have at least one Link monster to work with now. Now we'll fusion, and I'm just going to go into, say we just go into Genghis here, honestly. Or we could go into, I wish we had another level 8 fusion to go into right now because we could probably make some cool play happen, but, well, actually we're fusing DD Swirl Slime and Ragnarok right now, so we could actually fusion for Beowulf. So I'll put Beowulf there, and even still, there's not, this Link monster is just killing us right now. We can't even fusion because we have no extra monster zone to work with. But people, this deck I really do like. I really do like DDD a lot. I just, without having to play a Pendulum version, because I feel like the Pendulum version is not DDD anymore. I think it's just Pendulum with a hint of DDD. But pure DDD, I think is one of the decks that's still the most hurt by Link format. You saw it right there. We couldn't even Necro Slime because we don't have a zone to summon that monster into, because we had to summon Beowulf to begin with to even have a play. So this hand right here looks a little more promising. I want to allure, but first I want to use 1-for-1. 1-for-1 is one of the best cards in this deck in my opinion. Because it gets you so much stuff. We'll contract, and I'm going to grab a Lamia, because we don't need to worry about grabbing a Necro Slime, because we have a Copernicus in hand. And now we could probably allure. We could have started the turn with an Allure of Darkness, but let's go ahead and activate it right now. We drew into 2 dark monsters. Okay, I got super lucky there. I wouldn't recommend doing that at home. Probably I would say Allure first before you 1-for-1, but I kind of wanted to deck thin a little bit. But we can just banish this Copernicus now. Net ourselves that 1 Leonidas. Now we'll go into a Linkuriboh with Kepler. And let's put Linkuriboh over in this zone because we haven't shown the left side any love. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we'll Swirl Slime with these 2. This, like, nothing about this deck that's super cool is it literally just like ruins any burn deck's day. If you're playing burn and you happen to play against a DDG player who literally has any idea knows what they're doing and they're playing at least 1 Leonidas or a Diarch, like those 2 cards single-handedly almost win you every single game. So I just love how this deck gets around burn because I think burn's like a terrible thing that exists in this game, and I don't know why it still exists to this day, but it just does. Oh yeah, so we're banishing Swirl to summon Copernicus here, and in the process we're going to summon Lamia, but we're going to send Necro Slime off Copernicus. So we still have a Swirl Slime, and we still have a Necro Slime Engrave, which is really good. Now we'll link up into a Wee Witch, coming in so clutch, and then we'll Synchro for a Gale Alexander. Again, you can see things looking very similar here. And now that we've synchroed for that, here I'm going to do is just use the Necro Slime Engrave and banish, we'll banish the Genghis because we can use the Swirl Slime later on, next turn or whatever. So now we'll just fusion into a Diarch, and then again, this gets revived. We fusion like synchro with these for a big bad Crystal Wing. And now we can use Lamia to send Leonidas to the grave and just go like that. And our Lamia will get banished, unfortunately, but we get... Okay, so let's go ahead and do another test hand here and see what we can end up with. But yeah, I think one thing this deck could really use, I don't know if I mentioned already, but is that if this deck had like a DDD Link monster, I think this deck would just be leaps and bounds better, because having to go into Link monsters, stuff that uses your resources, obviously, that just aren't combo oriented and are only, you have to like make them first before you can start comboing, just really hurt this deck. So I think if we ever got a DDD Link monster that just did anything useful, or if we ever get the Flame King High Genghis fusion, I think this deck will be in a little bit of a better spot. But yeah, let's go ahead and draw into our next test hand here and see what we got. Allure of Darkness, let's go ahead and use that. Let's draw into 2 more. Man, I'm just drawing Ragnaroks for days. That's okay, I guess. This hand is a hand. We'll normal summon this, go for this, and now we will fusion summon with these 2. Actually, before we even fusion summon, we're going to play Ragnarok in the Pendulum Scale, because that's important to remember, because we can actually use that here. And we actually don't even have to use Genghis' effect if we don't want to, because we have a special summon a DD monster, and now we can special summon a DD monster in our grave. So we could summon Slime, and that could revive, on the summon of that, we could use Genghis to revive Ragnarok. There's a whole lot we could do here, but I just don't know if I really want to use Ragnarok's effect just yet, and I don't think we will. Because instead I want to just banish, no, actually we have to use that, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to go into Wee Witch, because we need to get a monster on board just to go into Wee Witch, so we have to use that. And then we'll go into Wee Witch right here, and we don't have a tuner, so this field is going to be kind of lackluster. Let's go ahead and fusion with these 2, and summon out, let's see here, actually, let's banish, no, we can leave that there, that's fine. Let's banish those 2, summon this, and then this will activate, Genghis will activate summoning this, and then we can make a rank 8 here. It could be either number 38 or Kali Yuga if you like, depends on what you want to summon. And then we have a Soul Charge if they end up breaking this board later on, which they probably will. This isn't like a really hard board to break. This could also be number 38, like I said. It could also be Felgran, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be playing like 2 rank 8s in this deck, and it's Duodon and 38. It's just my 38s in another deck box right now. But yeah, that's how that hand is going to end out. A little bit different. We get to use a rank 8 in that play, so kind of different. But like I said, if this was a DDD Link monster, if we had like a 1 Link DDD monster and a 2 Link DDD monster, this deck would just be in such a better position. Like leaps and bounds better. So I hope in the future they do that. Like, there's a ton of decks out there that still need Link monsters, because this Master Rule is so impactful on so many decks in so many ways than any like Master Rule before, because it literally just changes how you can play the deck. Alright, so we're all shuffled up now, and I pile shuffled real quick just so we could have like a decent hand to end on here possibly. And this hand seems okay to start. Let's go ahead and allure and draw it. Hopefully not into 2 spells, not too bad. I'm going to banish Leonidas. Poor Leonidas is going to get banished. And now we'll Foolish Burial for... we have potentially 2 Foolish Burials to work with, so it's okay. I want to put Swirl Slime Engrave first, though, because we are going to have to use our normal summon Necro Slime, and we'll put Lamia in there later. We might even have to use the Soul Charge at some point this turn. And I'm trying to keep all these hands that we're doing going first, because I think that's what this deck is right now. It's a going first deck, in my opinion. And I remember some people mentioning, like, in like some other videos and some other places, that, Saryuja in this deck can be pretty good. But like, I think you just have to use so many resources to get to Saryuja. Like, you just have to open like a really insane hand for that to even be like possible to an extent. So let's go ahead and use Swirl Slime here and summon out Copernicus. Copernicus is going to activate, and we will send a Lamia to the grave. And now we can use Wee Witch, go into Wee Witch, I should say. Like, here you could argue that we could go into Saryuja with Soul Charge here. And that draws us into 3 more cards, but we're only going to be able to net, we're going to draw 4 cards, but we have to put 3 back, so we only net 1 additional card, which in this case is a make or a break, because I don't really know at this point what there is to draw that's going to turn this hand into something phenomenal. So let's just go ahead and link into Wee Witch, put that there. And now we could not do a whole lot, honestly. There's just not a whole lot we can do. We didn't have to link into Wee Witch, but this deck is so difficult sometimes, man. It just doesn't give you enough to work with. I guess banish these 2 for a D-Arc, and then this is the field that I handed on in that video. D-Arc, Wee Witch, Soul Charge for Link Karibo, and sure, that's our ending field, Ghost Ogre in hand. I don't know. I just wish this deck had more to work with. Sorry if I feel like I'm not interested in this deck. I am. I want it to be better. If you guys have suggestions, let me know. I'm open to anything. I just can't wait for somebody to be like, well, actually, this deck could make Crystal Wing every turn no matter what you open. This deck can actually pump out 7 Crystal Wings. Like, it can, alright? And I don't want to play a Pendulum version of this. I just want to play pure DDD. And, this deck just needs some more support. That's all it is. It's just all it is. We get that new Flame King Genghis, that High Flame King Genghis. We get a DDD Link monster. Like, every other archetype is getting a Link monster. Like, Heretics, even Spellbooks, Mermails is getting a Link. Like, all this stuff. Like, DDD needs a Link. Just give us that, Konami. If you're listening, please. That's all we need. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you guys want to get a mat like this or one similar to it, you can check out the links to Imperium Duelist down in the description below. I have the Dragon Scale playmat. It's a nice cloth 2-player playmat. And if you want to get some of these sleeves for yourself, I highly recommend. These prismatic sleeves are like some of my favorite. And sort of like the Shatterfoil ones. They look super nice on pretty much any card, extra deck or main deck. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Like I said, check out the links down to Imperium Duelist in the description below. Use code WINNERKILLS10 off to save 10% on your next purchase if you'd like. But yeah, as always, Winterkill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.